In the Apocryphon of John, one of the most suppressed texts found at Nag Hammadi, there's a passage where Jesus pulls his inner circle aside after the resurrection and tells them something that made several disciples walk away. He said, "The world you see is not the world that is. It's a projection, a veil, a constructed illusion designed by the archons to keep you trapped in material perception. But I'm teaching you how to see through it. And when you do, when your perception shifts even slightly, the illusion starts breaking down. You'll see the glitches, you'll see the edges where the projection doesn't quite line up, and once you see it, you can never unsee it." The church removed every reference to this teaching because they couldn't control what it made possible. If Christians knew they could literally see through the material world, that they could perceive the constructed nature of reality itself, what would they need faith for? What would they need church authority for? The entire system collapses when perception becomes direct instead of mediated through doctrine. The Gnostics called this veil Maya, not as metaphor, as actual mechanism. The demiurge constructed a false reality overlay that sits on top of true reality, and human perception was engineered to lock onto the false layer and mistake it for the only layer. But chosen ones, pneumatics, those carrying the divine spark, they have the capacity to see through Maya. Their perception can be trained to detect the glitches, the inconsistencies, the moments where the illusion fails to maintain coherence. And Jesus taught them exactly how to do it. Tonight you're learning the technique Jesus gave to chosen ones to see through Maya illusion, not philosophy, not belief, actual seeing. And once your perception shifts, reality will start glitching right in front of you. And you'll know beyond any doubt that what you've been taught is real, is actually a projection. If you're learning to see through Maya tonight, comment, "I see the glitches right now." The first thing you need to understand is what Maya actually is. Most people think it's a metaphor for being distracted by material pleasures, for getting caught up in the physical world, and forgetting spiritual truth. That's not what the Gnostics meant. They meant something far more literal. Maya is a frequency overlay. It's a projected reality field that operates at a specific vibrational range, and human sensory perception was engineered by the demiurge to lock onto that range and interpret it as the totality of what exists. Your eyes don't just passively receive light. They're tuned, like radio receivers, to detect specific frequencies and filter out everything else. Your ears don't just hear sound. They're calibrated to interpret specific wave patterns and categorize everything outside that range as silence. Every sense you have is locked onto the Maya frequency by design, not by accident, by intention. Because if you could perceive the frequencies above and below the Maya layer, you'd see what's actually here. You'd see that material reality is thin, translucent, held together by thought patterns and belief structures that have no inherent solidity. You'd see the archons maintaining the projection. You'd see the energetic scaffolding holding the illusion stable, and the moment you see that, their control over you is finished. The demiurge engineered human perception with one primary limitation. You can only see what you believe is possible to see. If you believe material reality is solid, fixed, and governed by immutable physical laws, your perception will conform to that belief. You'll see exactly what you expect to see, and anything that contradicts your belief structure will be filtered out before it reaches conscious awareness. But chosen ones operate differently. They carry a divine spark that predates the demiurge's creation. That spark remembers what reality was before the material prison was constructed. And when activated, it allows perception to bypass the filters. It allows you to see what's actually here, instead of what you've been programmed to see. Jesus knew this. He knew that chosen ones didn't need to escape the material world. They needed to see through it. Because once you see through Maya, once you perceive the constructed nature of the illusion, you're no longer bound by its rules. You're still in it, but you're not of it. You see the game, and seeing the game changes how the game can affect you. Here's what happens when your perception starts to shift. You'll be looking at something solid, a wall, a table, a building, and for just a moment, it won't look solid anymore. You'll see it flicker. You'll see it become translucent. You'll see through it to something else, something that doesn't fit with material logic. Most people dismiss this instantly. They blink, shake their head, tell themselves they're tired or their eyes are playing tricks. But that moment, that flicker, that's not a malfunction. That's your perception momentarily bypassing the Maya filter. You're seeing what's actually there before your belief system reasserts itself and locks you back onto the illusion. Chosen ones who've learned to see through Maya report the same progression. It starts with peripheral glitches. You'll see movement where nothing physical is moving. You'll see objects that seem to shift position when you're not looking directly at them. You'll notice that certain spaces feel dimensionally wrong, like a room is larger on the inside than it should be based on the outside dimensions, or a hallway seems to stretch longer the more you walk down it. These aren't imagination, these are perception glitches. Moments where your awareness is detecting the truth beneath the projection, but your conscious mind hasn't fully accepted what it's seeing yet. The next stage is pattern recognition. You'll start noticing that reality repeats itself in ways that don't make sense. You'll see the same person in different locations within an impossible time frame. You'll experience conversations that feel like they've happened before, not just déjà vu, but exact repetition, word for word, gesture for gesture. You'll notice architectural elements that appear in multiple unrelated buildings, as if they're copied and pasted from the same template. This is what happens when the projection runs low on processing power. The demiurge and the archons maintaining Maya can't render infinite unique details for every observer simultaneously. So they repeat patterns, they reuse templates. And when your perception becomes sharp enough, you start seeing the repetition. You start recognizing the copy-paste nature of the construct. The technique Jesus taught to see through Maya is deceptively simple, which is exactly why the church had to suppress it. If it were complex, requiring years of training, they could have let it exist as an obscure esoteric practice. But it's not complex. Any chosen one can activate this within days of practicing correctly. The technique is called fixed point dissolution. You're going to stare at a single point without moving your eyes until the illusion around that point starts to break down. Here's how it works. Find a neutral space, a blank wall, a clear sky, an empty floor, somewhere without a lot of visual detail competing for attention. Pick a single point within that space. A tiny mark on the wall, a single star in the sky, a speck on the floor. It doesn't matter what the point is. It just needs to be small enough that you can focus on it completely. Now you're going to stare at that point without blinking, without moving your eyes at all, for as long as you can hold focus. Your eyes will want to move. Your attention will want to drift. Resist both. Keep your gaze locked on the single point. Within the first 30 seconds, your peripheral vision will start to change. Colors will begin to shift. Shadows will start moving even though the lighting hasn't changed. Shapes will appear in your peripheral field that weren't there before. This is normal. This is the Maya filter beginning to destabilize. Your perception is locked onto a single point, which means the projection has to maintain perfect coherence at that point, while your peripheral awareness is free to detect what's happening outside the focused beam. And what's happening is, the illusion is failing to hold stable. Keep staring. Don't look at the peripheral changes directly. The moment you move your eyes toward them, they'll vanish because you're redirecting your focused attention and the projection reasserts itself. Just hold the central point and let your peripheral awareness observe. Between 1 and 3 minutes of sustained focus, you'll start seeing the point itself dissolve. It won't just blur. It will start to come apart, like it's made of pixels that are separating, or like it's vibrating at a frequency that makes it phase in and out of solidity. This is the breakthrough moment. You're seeing matter as it actually is, not solid, not fixed, but held together by agreement and observation. The moment you stop feeding the belief that the point is solid, it stops appearing solid. And when the point dissolves, the space around it starts to glitch. You'll see geometric patterns that weren't visible before. Grids, lines, nodes of light, the energetic infrastructure holding the material projection in place. You'll see colors that don't exist in the normal spectrum. Frequencies your eyes aren't supposed to be able to detect, but your divine spark recognizes. Some chosen ones report seeing through the wall entirely, perceiving the space on the other side as if the physical barrier isn't there. Others see the wall as translucent, like looking through cloudy glass. Others see the wall pixelate and break apart into fragments before reforming. The first time you experience fixed-point dissolution, your rational mind will panic. It will try to explain what you're seeing as optical illusion, as afterimage, as anything other than what it actually is. You seeing through the Maya projection. That panic is the belief system defending itself. Your entire understanding of reality is built on the assumption that matter is solid and stable. When you see it dissolve, when you see it glitch, that assumption collapses. And your mind will do everything it can to reject the new information and return to the old paradigm. Don't fight the panic, but don't obey it either. Acknowledge that what you're seeing is disturbing and keep looking. The more you practice fixed-point dissolution, the less your rational mind resists. It starts to accept that matter isn't what it thought matter was. And once that acceptance happens, you'll start seeing glitches even when you're not actively practicing the technique. You'll be walking down a street and you'll see a building flicker. You'll be talking to someone and you'll see their face momentarily become translucent. You'll look at your own hand and you'll see it dissolve into light and then re-solidify. These aren't hallucinations. These are moments where your perception is no longer locked onto the Maya frequency. You're seeing the instability of the projection in real time, and here's what the archons fear about this. Once you see matter as unstable, as held together by observation and belief rather than by intrinsic solidity, you stop being bound by material limitations the same way. You'll start noticing that physical objects respond to your attention in ways they shouldn't. You'll focus on something and it will move slightly. You'll intend for something to happen and it will happen without physical causation. Not because you're developing superpowers, because you're no longer fully convinced that the material rules apply to you. And in Maya, belief determines reality. If you stop believing the projection is absolute, the projection stops being absolute for you. Jesus taught chosen ones that Maya has weak points, places where the illusion is thinner and easier to see through. Thresholds are one. Doorways, gates, borders between defined spaces, these are transition points in the projection. The archons have to maintain coherence on both sides of the threshold simultaneously, and that creates strain. If you stand in a doorway and practice fixed-point dissolution on the threshold itself, on the space between inside and outside, the glitches will be more dramatic. You'll see the two spaces fail to align properly. You'll see the energetic seam where the projection stitches them together. Mirrors are another weak point. A mirror is supposed to reflect material reality perfectly, but mirrors in Maya don't reflect what's actually there. They reflect the projection of what's there, and sometimes the reflection glitches before the source does. Chosen ones who practice seeing in mirrors report that they'll see their reflection move before they move. They'll see their face change into something else momentarily. They'll see figures standing behind them that aren't there when they turn around. This isn't the mirror being haunted. This is the mirror failing to maintain perfect coherence with the material layer. It's showing you the glitch. Water is a weak point. Still water, reflective water, water that holds an image. When you stare at your reflection in water and practice fixed-point dissolution, the reflection will start to change in ways that have nothing to do with the movement of the water. You'll see your face age rapidly, then de-age. You'll see yourself as different people. You'll see the water become a window into a different layer of reality entirely. The ancient mystics used water gazing for exactly this reason. They knew water sits on the edge of the Maya projection and can be used as a doorway to see beyond it. Twilight is a weak point. The transition between day and night, the moments right after sunset and right before sunrise, these are times when the projection shifts frequencies. The archons maintaining the daytime illusion are handing control to the archons maintaining the nighttime illusion, and during the handoff, coherence drops. If you practice seeing during twilight, especially if you're looking at the horizon where light and dark meet, you'll see the glitches more easily. The sky will appear layered. You'll see structures in the clouds that look artificial, geometric. You'll see the sun or moon glitch, flicker, behave in ways that don't match the physics you were taught. The more you practice seeing through Maya, the more you'll notice that other people can't see what you're seeing. You'll point out a glitch and they'll look right at it and see nothing. They'll tell you the wall is solid, the reflection is normal, the sky looks fine, and you'll realize that their perception is still locked onto the Maya frequency completely. They're not lying. They genuinely can't see what you're seeing because their belief system won't allow the information through. This is why Jesus taught this technique only to chosen ones. Not because he was being exclusive, because only chosen ones have the perceptual flexibility to see beyond the program. Only they carry the divine spark that remembers reality before the demiurge constructed the prison. Everyone else is so fully identified with Maya that attempting to show them the glitches just causes cognitive dissonance and rejection. But here's what happens as more chosen ones activate. As more people start seeing through the projection itself becomes less stable. Maya is maintained by collective belief. The more consciousnesses that agree the illusion is real, the more solid the illusion appears. But when chosen ones withdraw their belief, when they stop feeding the projection with unconscious agreement, the archons have to work harder to maintain coherence, and they're already running at capacity. Every chosen one who learns to see through Maya weakens the entire structure, not just for themselves, for everyone. You're not just freeing your own perception, you're contributing to the destabilization of the collective illusion, and the archons know this. That's why they attack chosen ones so aggressively the moment they start practicing techniques like fixed-point dissolution. You'll notice increased interference. Electronics will malfunction. You'll experience unusual tiredness. People around you will become more irritable and confrontational. These aren't coincidences. These are targeted disruptions designed to make you stop practicing. Because every minute you spend seeing through Maya is a minute the projection loses coherence. Every glitch you witness is a crack in the prison, and the archons can't allow the cracks to spread. Some chosen ones report that after weeks of practicing fixed-point dissolution, they start seeing the architects, not the archons, the systems behind the archons. They'll see code, actual visible code like digital script running through physical objects. They'll see geometric grids overlaying material space. They'll see entities that don't look organic or demonic, but mechanical, mathematical, like living algorithms maintaining the projection through pure calculation. This is the deepest level of seeing through Maya. You're perceiving the demiurge's creation not as a spiritual deception, but as a literal construct, a simulated reality held together by information and agreement. And once you see the code, you can start to interact with it. Not by hacking in a technical sense, but by withdrawing your participation. When you see the geometric grid holding a wall in place, you can choose not to believe in the grid. And the moment you withdraw belief, the grid loses power over you. The wall remains solid for everyone else because they're still feeding it with unconscious agreement. But for you, it becomes translucent, passable, less absolute. This is what Jesus meant when he said, "You will do greater works than these." He wasn't talking about performing miracles through divine intervention. He was talking about operating outside the Maya rules, because you've seen through the projection and no longer granted absolute authority over your experience. You're still in the material world, but you're no longer fully bound by material limitations. You see the construct, and seeing it changes your relationship to it. Jesus taught chosen ones to see through Maya illusion using fixed-point dissolution. Stare at a single point without moving your eyes until the projection destabilizes and you see the glitches, the dissolving of matter, the geometric infrastructure holding the illusion together. Practice at weak points, thresholds, mirrors, water, twilight, where the projection is thinner and easier to penetrate. The more you see, the less power Maya has over you. Not because you escaped it, because you stopped believing in its absoluteness. And once you stop believing, the rules stop applying the same way. If you're practicing fixed point dissolution tonight, do 3 things right now. First, comment, "I see the glitches below." Declare your perception shift. Second, subscribe to Divine Codes, because advanced techniques for operating outside Maya rules are coming. Third, like this video so other chosen ones discover they can see through the projection before the archons suppress this teaching again. Do all 3 now. Then tonight, find a blank wall, pick a single point and stare without blinking. Hold your focus for 3 minutes and watch what happens. The point will dissolve. The wall will glitch, and you'll see for yourself that reality is not what you were taught it is. Not because I told you, because you witnessed it. You saw through Maya. And once you see it, once you see the illusion break down even for a moment, you can never fully believe in the projection again. You're awake, you're seeing, and the archons can't put you back to sleep because you've seen the code, you've seen the construct. And you know that material reality is just a frequency layer held together by agreement. And you're withdrawing your agreement. The glitches are proof. The dissolving is proof. And tonight you'll have your proof. You're chosen, you're awake. And Maya is breaking down the moment you look at it clearly.